So he said this was Motor Trend's Car of the Year, the AMC line was in '63. So here's what it looks like inside of the Rambler. It's actually pretty good shape inside. Would you say the seats have been redone?
Yeah, seats and floor.
Seats and the floor have been redone. Whoever did the seats, looks like they did a pretty good job at it. No power windows. This is what a car ought to be.
And to lock the doors, you know, you just push down on your handle. How you? There's no button.
Yeah, there's no
no buttons.
See, there was technology. Just no funny computer chips. I got a 1963 Rambler here, a 660. I've done videos on this one before and it didn't want to start, so let's crank it over and see what it does. Go ahead and try to start it once. Got anything? Okay. So the first thing I want to do is I want to check, because it's easy, we'll just put just a little squirt of something in the carburetor and see if it'll fire off. Okay, that'll be enough to make a fire. Still not firing off, so let's check for spark. Okay, so I've got that spark tester grounded to the bolt on the block in the coil wire itself, so let's see if we got any spark. Go ahead and try it. Okay. So we don't have no spark, it appears. So what I'm going to do is take the distributor cap off, and this is points. We'll clean them points up real quick and see what happens. Okay, now on this coil, the one side and the negative side will come back to the distributor, and the other side should have power with the key on. So I got my test light here. We tested it, it lights up. So if I put it on there, on the positive side of the coil, we'll turn the key on, and we have power. Okay, so we're back to the points. So I took the two screws loose. We'll take this off. Everything's looks good. It's not that old. So right here is the points. They like to corrode, especially when they set around. So what I'm going to do is take a points file and file. The worst part about the car is really the grille. And the front bumper is a little wavy, but like you said, the previous owner liked to run into a few things. If anybody knows where there's a 63 Rambler grill for a 660 Classic, let me know. So with the points are closed right now, I'll go ahead and just get a points file in here. You can take sandpaper, do whatever. Try not to file so much off, because there is like a coating of platinum, I think it is, on them. Then I'm going to take a piece of white paper. Sometimes you can just take white paper and do this without filing it. I'm going to keep running it through here until it comes out clean. I don't see the little dot there. That's where the stuff is off of the points. Okay, still got dirt on it. I got it zoomed in so far. Still got some dirt on there. So we'll do it one more time. You can use contact cleaner if you wanted to, but if you do, don't. The little lobes here, you want to make sure you don't wash all the grease and oil off of that. There should be like a little felt thing there that should have lubricant on it, just a few drops, but usually white paper will suffice. Okay. So theoretically, now that we've filed them a little bit and cleaned them with the paper, let's see if we got any spark. Go ahead and roll it over. Alright, hold on. Okay, try it one more time. So we do have spark right now, but it's a little bit on the yellow side. It does have some blue in it. So I think I'm going to run the file through there one more time and do the same thing with the paper, and then we'll go from there. So we're going to try this one more time just to see. On these adjustable ones, when you're on points, make sure you don't have it opened up too wide too. Okay, go ahead. Right. So I don't know what happened to the camera there, but anyway, we see we still got spark. It's got a little bit of orange into it, but what I don't have a real good connection right here going into that either. So what I'm going to do is put it all back together, and then we'll see if it'll fire up. See, the thing is with the spark, we'll still have spark with the cap and the rotor off coming out of the coil, because it goes into the cap, and then this is what redirects it to go to each cylinder. So even without the rotor cap and stuff on there, it will not affect the spark. A lot of the older caps will have like a locating thing or something on them, like looks like this has a notch here, or maybe this little thing here. You got to make sure you get that in the right place. Right there, and it goes right in. Hold down, and you just turn these in. Now when you tighten these down, just keep in mind that you're tightening in the plastic. So snug is sufficient. You don't have to have it. Now we're just going to give it one little shot here. That's about what we got too, one little shot. Okay, go ahead and see if it'll fire up.
It did fire. The other can of ether is sitting right there in the doorway.
Okay.
Door handle.
Hey, say that again.
Well, I had a 63 American, this is a 63 Classic, whereas this has a button. The other one was a feature that originally came on the Nashes back in the 50s, even the 40s. The handle was here, you squeezed it this way. Lift
Yeah,
it.
instead of the grab handle is.
Yeah.
This thing's still in pretty good shape, underneath and on top. Come on, try it one more time. setting. Okay. Okay, so it's still stalling out when we let off, but it runs. So that's telling me there's probably maybe something in the idle circuit of that carburetor. Let me do some looking here and I'll be right back. Now, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but right down here on the very bottom there's a little jet screw sitting here. And that's for the idle circuit. So what I'm going to do is just turn that back and forth. I'll probably turn it like out a half a turn and back in to where it's at, maybe in a little bit and back out. And then we'll get it back to about where it's at, and then we'll try to start it and see if it runs. Okay, we'll try it one more time. 2. So it feels like it was out 2 turns. When you run one of these in, don't run it in tight. Just it's soft metal. Just go to it snugly. So there's 1 turn back out. Another half. Somewhere back where we was at. Just try one more time. What the heck? Try one more time. All right.
Trying to hold it in the same place and keep the whole carburetor on when you're different linkages.
A couple lines, 3 lines.
I can remember that linkage can be fun.
So I think what we're going to do is try to take the carburetor off. I'm going to take it with me and try to clean it out because the idle circuit is what seems to be the problem here. So I think we're just going to go ahead and take this off and clean it out. Because if it was a fuel delivery problem with the fuel pump or something like that, it wouldn't run at a higher RPM. Well, we're only having an idle problem right now. So, where's the other one there? Bridges right here. It's a big old fuel pump too, ain't it?
But it's easy to get to, if I remember right.
I think the first thing we'll do is unhook some stuff here. 1/2 inch and a 9/16 here. Probably get a little bit of fuel, we do. So we do know there's fuel
To the carburetor.
to the carburetor. It had a little bit of pressure, so. And on something with a needle valve, usually around 3 pounds or so, usually not over 5. And the gas does look a little tarnished, brown. We got this heat choke riser over here. Now on these heat choke risers and stuff, usually you can twist them in there a lot of times. Don't go bending and prodding. Looks like that might be a smaller 3/8 or so. They probably can't even see what I'm doing. I'm just thinking back in '63, You know, the way things are now is hard to get to. Back in '63, people was probably thinking, man, this stuff's so hard to get to. If they only knew what was around the corner. Now we got the linkage yet, and then we'll unbolt the carburetor. You guys probably couldn't see. So we took the fuel line, this heat riser thing, and the line over here off. Now we got this linkage here. And it looks like there's a cotter pin here. There's something under that spring that looks like it could come right off. So I'm going to do some looking again, and if I don't see no better way, then we're going to take the cotter pins out and see if I can just pick that up out of there. Okay, so here's going to be my issue. I tried to take the cotter pin out and it hits that part in the linkage back there. And there's another pin here. So what I think I'm going to do is take this cotter pin off. These two bolts holding this little rag joint to the thing looks fairly new. So I think I'll take those out. But the first thing, this bracket bolts on here. I'll see if those two will break loose real easy. And if they do, then that's the route I'm going to go. I'll take it off back here. I'll get the carburetor off, and then I'll look at that stuff and just see how it's supposed to come apart. Okay. So I took the little cotter pin out and the two bolts on that little rag joint. Now these two, see, they're just, I was afraid they might be really stuck in there, but don't seem to be. So now that we got that off of there, I guess the next step we're going to do, we got two bolts on the carburetor here. Now the other thing that could have been, if there would have been a vacuum leak somewhere, but it ain't going to hurt just to wash out the carburetor real quick, at least the idle circuit jets. And I put a paper towel in there so the stuff can't get dropped in there, and help deter rodents if there would be any per day. Put the nuts on, the bolts back in, and then two bolts back in. So everything should be there when we get back to it. Now here's the fuel pump on that thing, right down there.
You know, I tell people variable speed wipers are nothing new. You go downhill and your wipers do this, and you go uphill and your wipers
They
do
slow
that.
way down. Yeah, so it kind of looks like the top of this is a fuel pump. Must have a mechanical arm that runs the fuel pump, and then the two hoses on the bottom of that fuel pump goes up to this wiper control, which is vacuum operated.
Yep.
So I don't know.
And then the wiper motor up there has semicircle. It has a metal thing with it like a leather flap to make the seal. And sometimes they will dry out. You have to tear it apart and
Reseal it so it holds vacuum.
Vaseline it up a little bit. I used to know how to do all this stuff.
But that fuel pump is interesting. You know, people say old cars, but there was a lot of technical stuff on them. Okay, I'm back here with the Rambler. Had a couple of these made up. They got some fiber in them. Just like real thin mine belting, what it looks like. upholstery shop guide today. I got one on here already. So the only thing I'd done was took the idle circuit jet out and blew through it and cleaned it with carburetor cleaner. That jet right down here. So we'll see. I don't know if it's gonna run or not at idle. If it doesn't, we'll have to get a kit probably and rebuild this. I'm afraid if I open it up, I might break that gasket and I don't have one. So if we put it back together right now and it has a problem, then I think we're going to drain the tank and maybe get a kit and open this carburetor up. So I've got everything but the battery hooked up. Here's that, what I'm going to call it, a rag joint. Well, it is on a little bit of a bind, but it's the new one, so hopefully it'll work. And we did get a second one, so I got this on there. Make sure you get all these threaded on normally by hand and then tighten them up. It's not really that hard to put on. You got a couple bolts there and this little thing for the transmission kick down. Hold this one while you tighten that one. I think we put the air cleaner on here and then see what happens. I don't have no tripod today. I drove off and forgot it, so we're the way it is now. I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not. I'd take this piece of carpet they got around the gas pedal and roll it up there, because this gas pedal just hits that plunger on the back. And it was going up over top of the pedal, not letting it go. I just thought that was a interesting little thing, hooks around there. Island by itself. It actually sounds pretty good. Started on itself. That gas is old. Doesn't look like there's no fuel leaking. Sometimes you'll get one really loud, louder than that.
Well, they're not very easy to adjust. I don't know if I exactly remember how they work. You just put a feeler gauge, turn one, done. That's how you adjust it.
Yeah, you can either look it up or whatever, but a lot of times you take one cylinder and make it so one valve open and it doesn't close. Just to make sure it's closed. If you have nothing to go by.
Well, I know that's what you need to find on the internet. Valve adjustment is probably in the internet. I don't know if that was
Probably.
taking a maintenance item.
They used to have helpful information.
Yeah. The only reason I would not want to do it would be putting in chance of screwing the gasket up on it. They're available. Just like that little disc was available for $50. Well, I got to do up for nothing. Well, I'm going to go ahead and shut it off. Take those off. Set that in the truck. And
up again.
I would hope.
I think on the voltage regulator, or you could do it on the starter generator. I think you just hook a wire to positive, if I remember right, and you just touch the A terminal and it polarizes it. Make sure it runs the right way, where you don't have that trouble with an alternator because you got diodes and it can't go backwards.
Yeah, I figure a generator's still even available for this. I don't know. I had to put I don't know whether I had to put an alternator or a generator on the Javelin. And they still had them because Ford used. You know, American Motors would use a lot.
They borrowed a lot of.
Yeah.
Their idea seemed to be take all the best ideas from everybody and put on one car, which theoretically should have been good, but for some reason a lot of people didn't.
The transmissions on the older ones are Borg Warner. And then, I don't know what year, they switched to Chrysler. You already put your wrenches away, didn't you?
Yes, I can get them.
No, I got right here. They put your half inch, right?
I got to use a half of a 9/16.
This is a set that Gary won at a car show 100 years ago.
I like having sets of wrenches in a container, because then if something happens and you miss one, you know it right away. I'll take these all. I gotta put mine on to do anything.
Must have did a pretty good job putting that on.
Yeah, it didn't fall off.
Didn't fall off. And I never even thought of
At
that.
some point, we might want to change that cable, just because how close it is to the exhaust. I guess it's never heard it yet, but.
And when I bought it, I'm going, well, I knew it was just bare wire, and I'm going, how am I going to get that clamped down on? When I bought it, you know, it had
Yeah, that's a big one.
it had that up, and it said, you know, if you need some smaller wire, just turn it the other way. I'm going, oh, I guess that'll work. And it did. And I'm still, once again, I'm not in a hurry, but I'll ask. I'm still guessing we haven't done anything on that computer.
No, I haven't. I was going through them days of rain, I was sick. I think it's supposed to rain Friday.
You feel better?
Yeah, I feel something better.
Well, that's all the damage we can do to it today. You want to take a little picture?
Yeah, well, so it runs and idles and it sounds pretty good. So we're gonna leave it like this. And like he said, he's gonna try to start it up a little more often. That ought to help. Maybe in spring, we can talk him into getting it out, cleaning it up, and going for a ride.